The Bible, one of Western civilization's earliest texts, is it a work of myth or a work that relates ancient interpretations of historically accurate happenings? Modern discoveries of ancient documents and recent archaeological excavations have indicated that the Bible is a lot more than myth and legend. It is a true expression of history. The book of Genesis is an extremely accurate retelling of the ancient Sumerian epic, the Enuma Elish. There are many passages that suggest not just UFO sightings, but continuous and deliberate contact, communication and guidance of humans by beings from the sky. Lenticular clouds are a common weather phenomenon. They appear often near or over windy mountain ranges. Many UFO sightings have been reported as cloud-like objects. The photos you see here show that sometimes a cloud is a cloud, and perhaps sometimes a cloud just might be a UFO. The Bible contains numerous passages that depict clouds as the vehicles and home of the gods. The tribes of Israel spent 40 years in the company of a cloud as they wandered in the desert. This wonderful cloud maneuvered to protect the tribe from attack. It dropped food. It gave light and warmth at night, and it gave shade during the day. Since normal clouds don't usually do that sort of thing, we are left to ponder the origins of this particular unique cloud. As you read the following verses, ask yourself, are the scriptures referring to real clouds, or perhaps cloud is the only word ancient humans had to describe large gray masses that moved through the sky? The Bible describes UFOs in many other terms as well. In Genesis, God instructs Abraham in great detail on the preparations of a sacrifice. And in Genesis 15, a UFO literally consumes the sacrifice. In the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel's encounter with the wheel is the Bible's most well-known and often quoted example of a UFO. Many chapters of the book of Ezekiel are devoted to descriptions of the craft, the lights, and the sounds that took the prophet Ezekiel from Babylon on God's missions. The Star of Bethlehem is thought to be another example of a UFO in the Bible. After all, what star can move, then stand still over a single location? Other biblical encounters with angels and the Lord Himself can be more closely likened to modern-day close encounters and abduction scenarios. Biblical encounters with angels were not the sweet, lyrical interludes that many people associate with modern-day angelic stereotypes. In the days of the Bible, fear was the most common response to angelic beings. In the days of Enoch, the Bible tells us men lived 300 to 900 years before death. Enoch fathered Methuselah at the tender age of 65. At the age of 365, Enoch didn't die. He was taken by God. The 6th chapter of Genesis presents an interesting look at possible cross-breeding between men and gods, a notion contained in the stories of many early civilizations, the Greeks, the Romans, a notion that ultimately prompted God to bring on the flood in an attempt to destroy the evil of crossbreeding and the Nephilim. Consider the story of Jacob from Genesis 28. His story is very similar to modern Close Encounters. On a trek through the wilderness, he wakens from sleep to find a shaft of light upon which angelic beings are climbing up and down. A voice tells him his seed shall spread all over the earth. The voice says he will be watched over because he is a chosen one. Then he opens his eyes and it is morning. A dream, he tells himself, yet fear overcomes him and he moves on. The ascension of Elijah, as related in the second book of Kings, is witnessed by some 50 people and his son Elisha at the River Jordan. According to the Bible, most of the people Elijah and Elisha spoke with knew that Elijah was to be taken up into heaven. Yet Elisha refused to be separated from his father. Verse 12 tells what happens after they cross the River Jordan. In the book of Luke, 2:9 tells us that shepherds saw the glory of the Lord and the Lord's angels on the day Christ was born. The angels came with good news, yet the shepherds were full of fear. The book of Matthew tells of the transfiguration of Jesus. Jesus' body and clothing radiated light as a bright cloud overshadowed them. Elijah, who was taken into heaven, and Moses, who was never seen to die, appeared and spoke with Jesus. And the voice of the Lord spoke from the hovering cloud. Again, it is fear that takes control of the men watching.